Forming bracket!
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is obviously my review for the 2002 science fiction noir film, Minority Report. So Minority Report turns 20 this year. It's given me a pretty darn good excuse to finally sit down and review this film for you guys. It is directed by Steven Spielberg, the same director that gave us Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, Lincoln, Jaws, and a slew of other films. He's obviously one of the greatest directors of all time, and he is joined by a stacked cast. We have, obviously, in the lead role, we have Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell, Max von Sydow, and a slew of others. This is a film that, for those of you that don't know the premise, it's really simple. It's about a future where pre-crime is essentially done by a police task force. They are a special task force that are trying to essentially stop murders before they happen. This is a film that is very high concept, and I gotta say, it's like The Fugitive meets LA Confidential meets Chinatown, and I mean that in the best of ways. This is a film that has a simple premise, but the premise itself is very fresh and unique and innovative, and it helps that Steven Spielberg's directing here is incredible. I mean, he's, again, as I mentioned earlier, one of the best directors working today, but what he does here is he makes a very stylish, high concept film work really well. He elevates it by a lot. And I gotta say, what I also think that is the cinematographer, who is, I always pronounce his name wrong, so I'm going to try though this time. His name is Janusz Kaminski. He is one of the cinematographers that always pretty much works with Steven Spielberg. And he gets nominated for Best Cinematographer a lot. And for good reasons. He's a great cinematographer. One of the things that he did with this film was he actually did a bleach bypass with the film. That's right, this is shot on film. And he makes it so that way it looks very silver-esque. And I think the silver-esque palette is really something that's interesting because the overblown lighting matched with that really gives it a aesthetic that makes it very dreary looking. And I think that that's fitting given the tone of the film, where it's, you know, very serious and very matter-of-fact and very mature. I think that also just goes with the nature of this film in that it's very serious. There's not that much humor. Obviously, there is a little bit of humor in the film, but it's far and few between. But I think what's also great about this film is that the world building is really, really good. Colin Farrell's character is almost like a surrogate. He is almost a representation of us as audience members, where he's introduced to this unit, and as he is introduced to the unit, he's giving information, so us as audience members are also given information about this world. And I think that that's something that's really smart, because I feel like a lot of times with exposition in films, especially in blockbusters, you know, it's between two characters, and both characters know the information, so it's like, wait a minute, so why are they talking about this if they both know about it? So I think that this film does a really good job of having it where it makes sense as to why exposition is given. One of the other things to mention is about these characters are really something. I think that they're very three-dimensional. I think the lead character is especially really good. Tom Cruise, I mean, he is someone that is really good at acting. I think that a lot of people always think about his stunt work and everything. For sure, he does some stunt work in here. I'm not sure if he's a stunt double, because I know that this was obviously, pre-2010s. I know after the 2010s, he 100% did his stunts. But if he didn't, regardless, the stunt work in this film is really good. And he's given a lot to do, but he's also given dramatic steps in this film that I thought also were really good. And I also think that especially the character work between him and Max von Sydow's characters are really well done. The chemistry between them is palpable. Scott Frank's screenplay here is really good. It's very fleshed out. Again, his screenplay, Scott Frank's screenplay, matched with Steven Spielberg's directing, it's stellar work. John Williams, he obviously gives a typically great score. I think it's very underrated, personally. It's one of my favorites from John Williams, and it very much so fits the imagery that's on display. And I think especially during the action scenes and the chase sequences, they're really good. This is also a film that's PG-13, but it definitely feels like it's pushing the envelope. There's certain sequences that still make me wince to this day, and I think that, you know, they definitely got away with it, and I'm happy that they did. I really am, because I feel like this is a film that teenagers can watch, and it almost serves as like a prelude to other noir that you'll watch, such as like Blade Runner, Chinatown, LA Confidential that I mentioned earlier. And I think that this film really holds up. At 20 years later, it really holds up. Again, I feel like it might not be a film for everyone, though, because the cinematography is definitely something that I was able to pick up on, the symbolic nature of it, but not everyone's going to. A lot of people are going to be like, wow, this is a visually ugly looking film. But at the same time, it's like, it's intentionally supposed to have a silver-esque look to it with the bleach bypass. And also wanted to go back to that and mention that the fact that this film was shot on film, it makes me happy, because obviously in today's day and age, films aren't shot on film, which is a shame. But it's very nice to watch a blockbuster like this that's shot on film that has a lot of visual effects, but at the same time uses a lot of practical effects. So it really has aged like a fine wine in that front. And also it's very much so focused on the characters and story. So there's a lot to like about Minority Report. I mean, I really have no issues with it. It's a film that with each viewing I seem to like it more and more. And I also love the fact that it touches on themes and messages of like, free will versus fate. Stuff like that always fascinates me, but especially how it's done in this film, I really liked it. Other thing I want to talk about is, as much as I love about this film, I will say that the ending itself, it does end on kind of like a happy note, and there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I just feel like with everything that we saw before, it kind of almost doesn't really feel something that's 100% earned. Like I would say 90%, but there's still that 10% where I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I still love this film. Don't get me wrong. Like maybe I was just kind of hoping for like a Chinatown-esque kind of ending, but nonetheless, Minority Report is still a really good film. It's a very underrated Steven Spielberg film. I personally think it's one of his best, and Minority Report, I personally will be giving a... So yeah, guys, Minority Report. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It turns 20 this year, so I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below. And one thing I also wanted to mention is on my channel, I actually did rank Steven Spielberg's work. And just know this, that if I could go back and re-rank Steven Spielberg's work, Minority Report would be much higher. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts on Minority Report down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. With the subscription, notification bell, follow me on Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.